Coach Betty Rocker here. Awesome to have you here for today's upper body and core sculpting workout. This is a low impact circuit today. We actually have 3 mini supersets to do, and we're really going to be targeting the entire upper body. You've got a whole shoulder move, you've got biceps, triceps, a little bit of chest, lots of back, good amount of core. So this is a really nice focused workout for that upper body that's really important to work. You'll need some resistance objects today, weighted objects, water bottles, light dumbbells, whatever you've got around the house can work. And if you're using dumbbells, this is a great workout to really see what is the appropriate amount of resistance to work on. Maybe it's time to upgrade, get some additional resistance or weighted objects for yourself to have as options, but use what you've got, and I'll show you some variations. So we're gonna go ahead and start out right away with some activation for the shoulders, get our core aligned, and today I'm gonna do that up against my wall. So go ahead and find a wall space in your house to sit up against, and gently sink your knees down just a little bit here, and press your lower back up against the wall. Not hard, but I just want you to imagine, if you've done blueberry spine with me before, to activate blueberry spine up against your wall. Lean your head up against the wall and feel your core turn on. All that blueberry spine is a slight activation in the core. So you feel your abs become braced as you gently press your back towards whatever surface you're leaning up against, whether it's the floor or the wall. So from this active core position, we're going to bring our arms up and back into sort of a 90-degree goalpost position. I want you to work towards touching your shoulders to the wall, touching your elbows to the wall, touching your wrists to the wall. Now I'm using my imagination, of course, because I have nothing behind me, but I'm really working those shoulders back, and I hope you have something against your arms that you can press against. And if not, you can definitely take this to the floor. All we're going to do here to activate that back and get our shoulders back where they belong is just raise our arms up and then lower them down, maintaining that core activation. This is a great mobility and warm-up move for your back and shoulders. I love doing this prior to doing any kind of upper body movement or exercise, and I just invite you to activate with me now. Keep hugging your shoulders back against the wall, and just keep going up and down. You don't have to go all the way up, you don't have to come all the way down. You can come up higher, you can come down lower. It's usually challenging to keep your elbows, wrists, and shoulders touching the wall to going up super high. So just focus on working on that. We're gonna do 2 more. Last one. Nice job. And go ahead and step away from your wall. And we're just gonna come into a plank hold for about 30 seconds just to activate our chest, get our core engaged in a different position. And I invite you to do your plank hold up against an elevated surface or down on the mat kneeling, or of course on your toes, whichever way feels the best for you as we're just warming it up. So I'm gonna use my elevated surface and come up onto my toes for this first one. And I'm just gonna make sure my hands are stacked below shoulders, core is engaged, imagining that same blueberry spine position as we're in our plank. So we don't have that arched back, that curve. We actually engage that core, bracing the abs, head and neck are in neutral. And I'm watching the clock. I'm gonna give us another 15 seconds here of just isolated holding in our plank. And this is warming up your shoulders, your chest, your abs, and even your back. Good job. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent work. Thank you for doing that with me. Now go ahead and pick up some light resistance, and we're gonna be working on something that's gonna activate all 3 of your deltoid heads, so all 3 of the muscles that make up your shoulder cap. There's a front one, a middle one, and a back one. This is the Arnold Press. So this one you may have done before. I'm gonna stand up tall, really engaging my core once again, bringing the arms up to about a 90-degree bend, palms facing the shoulders. And from here, it's a rotation as we come up to press overhead. Come back down, lock it all in place, keep that core nice and tight, up and press overhead. You don't need a whole lot of resistance here for this one, so just be very mindful that you're not overdoing it, especially in our first set. Anytime we're adding resistance, we always want to start out conservatively. That's why we started out with a little bit of mobility, and I'm starting out with a very light amount of resistance as I work on my form, because of course our rotator cuff is very often an injured joint or an imbalanced joint. So we always want to make sure that we're in proper alignment. Now I'm still imagining that my shoulders are up against the wall. That's my start position, right? So I don't have my shoulders rounded forward as I begin. I'm really upright and back as I press up and rotate open. Now, if you're finding that you just don't have enough options at home to have a light enough amount of weight or resistance, you can also isolate these and do them one at a time. That's a great way to work on your strength, and also it'll give you a little mini rest in between each rep. So please do whatever works best for you today. Last one. And we're gonna move on and do something on the mat for our lower abs. So make sure you have some space. Come to a seated position, lower yourself down. Bring your dumbbells or your weighted objects with you. We're actually gonna go ahead and press them up overhead, and then we're gonna suck our shoulders back down, really making the sort of like obvious point of touching our shoulders back down against the floor. From here, with your knees bent, you can lift your knees up and over to the right, slide your feet out slightly, lift them up and to the left. The secret here is that your lower back must remain glued down to the mat at all times. So that is what we're doing. We're really continuing to activate blueberry spine. Blueberry spine is where we imagine we have a big fat blueberry, we stick it below that natural curve in our lower back, and then we flatten it out. It's just a fun way of remembering that we want to have that really good core activation, the integration between our lower back and our front abs. Good. Now you don't have to slide your feet out very far. You could just tap your feet down and then bring your knees up to the side. If you're a little bit more advanced, you are welcome to straighten the legs out and bring your legs over to one side, lower your feet down, bring them over to the other side. The goal here, however, is to maintain that blueberry spine, also keep your shoulders activated. There's a lot going on here with this move. It's not just about your core, you've also got that upper body engagement, that upper body activation for your back, even as you're working your lower abdominals and integrating them in with your back. Great job. Let's do one more on each side. And done. Bend your knees, rock yourself up, or come to your side and help yourself sit up. We're gonna repeat both of those movements for 2 more rounds before we move on to our next set of moves. So come to standing. Shoulders back and down as if they were up against that wall again. Bring your arms up, facing your shoulders, and begin again, pressing up and overhead. Up and overhead, rotating so that your palms face forward once you reach the top. Maintain that nice engagement in your core. Maintain that nice engagement in your rotator cuff so your shoulders are remaining back as if they were up against the wall. So good. Your goal is to do about 8 to 12 reps here. So feel free to count to yourself. You don't have to do as many as me. You can even go a little bit beyond me. The reason I give a range for this is because it's really helpful when choosing how much resistance to use. If you're able to do 15 to 20 of these reps with the amount of resistance you've chosen, you may want to get something a little heavier for the next round. If you're having a really hard time performing this movement with what you have, your lightest weight, I would really recommend doing it body weight style to help build up that strength, or going down if you're using something a little heavier or you thought you had the right amount. That's plenty for that second round. Maybe you stopped already, and that's great. This workout is for you. We're gonna come back down and do another set of those floor wipers. Once again, holding the weighted objects up over our chest, and then bringing the shoulders back and down to touch the floor. Re-engage blueberry spine, bring the knees over to the elbow, option to slide the feet out as we bring them to the other side, or of course, option to straighten the legs. Do not do the straight legs if your back's not able to maintain contact. There's nothing wrong with that. Just means that there's some additional strength needed in your core. And you can help build that up by performing the move with your knees bent and continuing to practice that. That's going to help you get stronger. Good. Keep breathing. Stay focused. This is nice and slow and controlled today. Low impact, moderate intensity, I would say, maybe high intensity, but we're really doing it with low impact.
There's nothing fast or cardiovascular in today's workout. So I really like how we can just sort of isolate these muscle groups and go nice and slow. Gonna do one more each side. Last one. And release it down. Bring yourself back up to your standing position. And we're gonna do one final set of both of those two moves. So here we go. Bring your feet into touch, engage your core, shoulders come back and down in their sockets. We bring our palms to face our shoulders, and then we rotate and press up overhead. Option, of course, to do these single arm, one at a time, to get a little rest in between. You can do that if you're in between weight amounts or resistance amounts. Great work. Strong and steady here. Nice, smooth flow. Beautiful job. Up and press and release. Up and press and release. Remember, 8 to 12 total is a good range. Keep breathing. I'm going to do 2 more. I feel these really fast. The deltoids, the shoulder cap muscle, is a small sort of thinner muscle, and it gets tired quickly. So don't feel like there's something wrong if you're getting fatigued, even if you're just using body weight. I get tired just using my own body weight. 3-pound dumbbells, 2-pound dumbbells. Those deltoids get tired quickly. So great job there. We're gonna come down again for our floor wipers. Lowering all the way down. Find that blueberry spine again. Gently engaging through your core, pressing your back down into the mat without hyper forcing it, right? Just a nice engagement. We're gonna hold our hands up over our ribs and engage our shoulders down towards the mat. And begin bringing your legs or your knees up and over. There's no hip lift or rock with this one. It's a very slow and controlled lift for your legs. It's kind of a lot of time under tension for your lower abdominals, especially if you don't fully touch your feet down. It's really good to just work on these sort of isolated, slow moves in the mix with all the other fun, maybe more high intensity type of workouts that you're doing. I personally really enjoy mixing it up and find that the variety keeps me focused and looking forward to my workouts. And that's really a lot of why in Rock Your Life, our online home workout studio, we have hundreds and hundreds of different classes that you can actually search by how long the workouts are, what type of workout, what body part you want to work. It's awesome. If you haven't checked it out yet, I offer a 30-day trial, and you can take that and check it out at no risk. So please check out Rock Your Life. Oh my gosh, I can't stop talking about it because it's literally the greatest thing we have. People are they have so much fun in there. Last one, lower down, and excellent work on your 3rd round. Awesome, go ahead and give it a little stretch. And we're gonna come up now and work on triceps and biceps. I love this superset because we're working 2 muscles that support the arm in opposite ways. So agonist, antagonist, right? So we're gonna start with the tricep kick back. And I've added a little bit of bonus back to that as well. So go ahead and pick up maybe a lighter set of resistance objects. Come into a chair pose. So chair pose, we're gonna start out, shoulders are back as if they're against the wall. We engage our core, feet are close together. And then we sink down as if we were gonna sit down in maybe a high chair. And then we just lean forward slightly, bringing that core in and up. From here, we're gonna bring our elbows up into a row, and then we're gonna flip our palms up, coming into a kickback. Release them, arms down, repeat the row, kick the arms back again. Release, keep those shoulders back, keep your back flat, keep your gaze in front of you. Nice job, keep that core nice and tight. So good. 8 to 12 here again, that's our rep range. Up and back and down, up, back and down. And you may be noticing that the resistance that you're using is just perfect. It might be a little too heavy, could be a little too light. Just go ahead and feel that out, this first set. I'd rather you use too light on your first set just to show your body where it's going, really get into your form. You're still working. Last one for me. And all the way up. Great job. Now we're gonna work on our biceps. And what I really like to do with the biceps is to use that same position we used right at the beginning of today's workout, where we came into just a tiny wall sit with our back up against the wall in that blueberry spine, and then we're gonna bring our shoulders back up against the wall. And then we're gonna isolate. We're gonna do one arm bicep curls with our shoulders very deliberately back in the correct position. So let's do that now. Bringing the palm to face the shoulder, really deliberately keeping the shoulders back against your wall, and you're in that tiny wall sit. So you really have exceptional form here. Why I do this is because I really like to make sure that I'm activating the biceps. And sometimes we have a tendency, if we're just standing regularly, to let the shoulder rotate forward a little bit. And that can put a little stress on the biceps tendon where they sneak underneath some of the underlying structures of the shoulder joint, and we want to avoid that. So I really like this one. This is just a fun variation to do with the bicep curl that really isolates it in the right position. So strong. Nice, slow and steady. I'm already noticing that I'm ready to go up to a little bit heavier of a resistance for my second round. Maybe you've noticed that too, or maybe you're just right where you are. I'm gonna do one more for each side, and then we're gonna go back to our tricep rows. Great job. Great work. Okay, I'm gonna set these resistance objects down and pick up a slightly heavier set as we move on to our second round. And we're gonna come back into that chair sit. Once again, now we know, just from the beginning of this workout, we worked on getting our shoulders back up against that wall. And we're gonna come into that little chair position, engaging the core, maybe slight pelvic tuck under. Keep the shoulders back, little hinge forward from this position, great form. And we're gonna draw the elbows up, kick the arms back, come down. Reset the shoulders, up and back. Keep the elbows in close to your rib cage as you row up and then kick back. Beautiful job. Keep that core nice and tight. Keep breathing. Maybe you used more resistance this time. Maybe it's more challenging. Maybe you're using the same. That's great. Keep going. Up, back, and down. Shoulders back, reset. Check in with your form. Are you light through your toes? Want to make sure we have a nice even distribution through our feet, and we're not pitching our weight forward onto our toes. Last one for me. Feel free to do a couple more. And up. Great. We're going to move right back into our alternating bicep curls. Back is up against the wall. Tiny little chair sit here with our back, and then we're going to tilt our pelvis under, bringing our back up against the wall. Shoulders come back against our wall, and we're going to curl the arms one at a time, really isolating those bicep heads. Great job. Hey, have you been thinking about how you're eating today? I was having a conversation with a friend today about the importance of really just being mindful of including the right nutrients throughout the day, because your workout is great, but you're not going to see the results from your workout without good nutrition. Of course, you need good sleep, stress management, all 4 pillars of health. These lifestyle habits that we build are just so important and really add up to why we see results, and in some cases why we don't, right? So super, super important to be mindful of your food intake today. Make sure you're eating satisfying whole food nutrients. Make sure that you're making protein a feature in every meal, because it's so much more satisfying than even fat or carbs. And when you feature it in each meal, you're going to be able to control your portion sizes a lot more easily, not overeat. Last one on each side for me. And done. Nice. Okay, one final round through both of these moves. How are you feeling? Whew, great job. Gonna bring our feet in close to touch, shoulders back, just like they were in our bicep curls. Bend the knees, tucking the pelvis under slightly, hinge forward a little bit. Elbows up, kick the arms back, and down. Elbows up, kick the arms back, and down. Elbows up, kick back, down. Up, back, important for muscle, right? For both your muscle recovery and for sculpting lean muscle. As you build muscle, this is part of why we do things with resistance, whether it's body weight resistance or weighted object resistance. As we build muscle, we help protect our bodies, help protect our joints. We help increase our skeletal muscle. We help increase our bone density, very important as we go through time. And we're more able to naturally burn calories at rest. We need more energy, so we can eat a little bit more if we carry more muscle. Muscle is also an endocrine organ, meaning it helps regulate hormones. So it can be really, really beneficial to have more muscle on your body. I'm done with that one. Woo! Just thinking out loud, thinking about all these important things that I think I sometimes take for granted because I've been learning about them and doing them for so long. But it's just so important to continuously remind ourselves of how we're eating to support our workouts. If you're here exercising with me, I know you care about your body and your health. So I want to make sure you have all the pieces that you need to really make the most out of these workouts. Let's begin our bicep curls. I know you've got your shoulders back against your wall. Your lower back is gently pressing into the wall so you have an engaged core. Once again, let's stay light through those toes so we're not putting undue pressure on the front of our knees. Good work, come on. Curl, release, nice and controlled. Make sure those shoulders stay back. Chest stays open. We're gonna work on our chest in our final superset. We're gonna work on chest, side abs, and a little bit of biceps, and our back. It's a really fun last superset. So you're perfectly prepared for it. Great job, come on. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more each side. See where you're at. We all may have different amounts of resistance we're using. So good. Last one. And done. Woo! Awesome work. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our 3rd and final superset for this workout. Now for this one, remember at the beginning we worked on our plank hold. We really were preparing ourselves perfectly for this movement. Now what I'm going to invite you to do is a combination movement that involves a push-up to a rotational plank with a hip dip crunch. So it's a few different things. I'm going to do this movement in a kneeling plank today because I really like the way that transition works with the hip dip crunch. We're able to be a lot more controlled. So I invite you to try this with me. And if you're way more advanced, feel free to take it right up to your toes and go the full spectrum. So you can also do this elevated against your couch if even the kneeling is a bit beyond what you're comfortable with today. So first we're going to set ourselves up for plank, just like we did at the beginning, elevated or lowered down. And from here I'm going to go ahead and do 2 push-ups from my kneeling position. Then I'm going to rotate to the right, extending my leg, making sure my hand is stacked. I'm going to drop my hip down on the right and then crunch with my left knee. Great. Back to center, resetting, make sure we don't have an arched back. 2 push-ups. Rotate over to the left. Good. Drop the hip, crunch the knee. Back to center, reset, 2 push-ups. Hold that core in nice and strong. Rotate, hip dip, crunch. Yes. Back to center, 2 push-ups. Great job. Rotate, hip dip, crunch. Back to center. 1, 2, rotate, hip dip, crunch, push up for 2, rotate, hip dip, crunch. Now we're going to do something a little different. So you're going to do 1 push-up, and you're going to do 2 hip dip, crunch, hip dip, crunch. Back to center, 1 push-up, rotate, hip dip, crunch, hip dip, crunch. Back to center, 1 push-up, rotate open, hip dip, crunch, hip dip, crunch. Last time through, 1 push-up, over to the side, dip, crunch, and done. Nice job. That's a lot, right? We gotta make the most of these workouts. Okay, the next move is an isolated 3-point dumbbell row. I just love this movement, really great for helping to strengthen the back, help us bring our shoulders back into a natural, more upright position, which helps our body with alignment. I'm gonna pick a medium amount of resistance. I'm gonna stand with with my left leg in front of me. And this is helpful if you have a couch, chair, something that's about mid-body height to hold on to here. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm actually going to bend over to about a 90-degree bend with my left foot in front of me. My back foot is dropped down into a bent knee position. I feel nice and stable and secure here. From here, I'm going to row my arm up and to the side. Now, if you'd like, you can come up a little bit more. Please do what feels right for your body today. I really want you to just focus on isolating that shoulder. I just want you to have some support. Basically, the 3 points mean we have 3 points touching down to something. We're going to do 8 to 12 reps here total, and I think that's about 9 and then 10 for me, which feels just about right for this side, and then I'm going to switch sides. Feel free to do a couple additional reps, and when you're ready, switch it over to the other side. We're going to bend that back knee and row it up. Row it up, keeping the elbow in close to your body, keeping your gaze nice and neutral in front of you, making sure you have something stable in front of you to hold on to. Woo, really working that back. So good. Great job. Last 2, last 1. Woo, that felt good. Okay, moving on, we're going to go through those moves 2 more times. So starting out again with the rotating plank push-up and crunch. So pick your choice of how you want to do this. You can do this elevated on your knees. You can do this up on your toes. I might do a couple on my toes to show you, but it's really all about you feeling stable and secure because we're rotating here. So hands below shoulders. We're going to start out again with 2 push-ups. We're going to rotate to the right, hip dip, 1 crunch, back to center. 2 push-ups. Rotate to the left, hip dip, 1 crunch, back to center. 2 push-ups. Back to the right, 1 crunch, back to center. 2 push-ups. Back to the left, 1 crunch. Back to center. We're going to start off with the 1 push-up now. 1 push-up, over to the side, 2 hip dip crunches. Great job. Back to center, 1 push-up, to the left, 2 hip dip crunches. Back to center, 1 push-up, back to the right, hip, crunch, hip, crunch. Great job. Center push-up, left side, hip, crunch, hip, crunch. 1 final bonus push-up, and we're going to move on to our 3-point dumbbell rows. Whew. Felt great. Go ahead and bend your knees to pick up a weighted object. Find your position. Left foot's going to start out in front. We're going to row with the right arm, hinging forward to a 90-degree bend, and draw that elbow up and back, up and back. So good. Feel that work between your right shoulder blade and your spine. That's my last one. Feel free to do a couple extra. I'm going to switch to the other side. Right leg steps forward, left leg steps back, hinging over, and begin again. Keep breathing. Just a couple more reps. Good work. Last one, and done. Final set through. I'm going to do 1 last set of these, and then you're done. I'm so proud of you. Thanks for being here and doing this with me. Proud of myself, too. All right, come back into your plank position. 2 push-ups. Nice flat back, nice tight core. Shoulders are aligned with our wrists. 1 stacked hip dip crunch. Back to center. 1 and 2. Now when you come into your side planks, really work to not be rotating your hips forward or back. You want to imagine that they're stacked up against a wall behind you. Dip, crunch. Back to center. 2 push-ups. Back to the left. Hip dip and crunch. Now we're going to go right into our single push-up.
right hip dip, 2 crunches. Great. Back to center, single push-up, over to the left, double dip crunch. That sounds like an ice cream flavor. I like it. Hip dip crunch, double dip crunch. Yum. Last one, last time. Dip, crunch, dip, and crunch. Last bonus push-up, and done. Excellent work. Last set of 3-point dumbbell rows. Let's do this. Bend your knees to pick up your weighted object. We're gonna step the right foot back behind us, hinging forward, reaching out with our left hand, and draw the elbow up and back. Great job. You got this. Last 2 for me. Switching to the other side. Sending your hips back, bending that back knee, reaching out, and begin again. This is your last move, last side. Make it count. Just 2 more, come on, we got this. 1 and 2. Woo! Excellent work. Now I always recommend a little bit of light stretching for the areas that you trained. Maybe you'd like to do the chest opening stretch that I've taught a lot before. Maybe you've seen me do this one before, where you open up through your shoulder, opening up through that chest. That's an excellent stretch. And I want you to be thinking about what you're going to check in with me today on today's post, wherever you're watching this video. I'd like to know more about what insights you got about yourself and about your body as you were training today. Did you notice a difference from one side to the other? Were there any moves that were particularly challenging today? Did you struggle to find the right amount of resistance? Was something really easy for you, or did you impress yourself? I would like to hear about any insights that you had about yourself in your comments on today's post. So be sure to leave them for me. I'll be looking out for them. As always, I invite you to use all of the resources on thebettyrocker.com. Tons of free, healthy recipes to help you balance your nutrients, like we were talking about in today's workout, to help support your everything that you do. And lots more fun workouts just like this one. And if you're looking for a program, a plan to follow along with that, lays it all out for you, something that you can come back to and reference again and again. I've got fantastic workout programs, whether you want to work out from home with no equipment, at home with some minimal equipment like we did today, or even if you want to work out more of a gym style. Maybe you've got a garage gym set up, maybe you're going to a gym. I've got programs like that for everybody, different styles of training, so whatever suits you, I highly recommend that. And if you're looking for really everything in one place, check out Rock Your Life, my online home workout studio, where we offer dozens of 30-day challenges. They're so much fun, so that you can really stick to a plan, get that daily email push, cross each day off your list. There's all different kinds of challenges in there, and we also have a huge class library, hundreds and hundreds of different workouts you can choose, like I was saying earlier, from how much time you have, what type of body part you want to train, so you can make up your own workout schedule that way. Super fun. And also we have lots of eating guides, meal plans available for you, so whatever you need, we have it. Whether you're just looking for something today, something simple on the blog, there's lots of motivation, recipes, workouts for you, or you're looking for a more structured plan to follow to get a specific result, we've got it all. All right, Rockstar, I'm Betty Rocker. You are so awesome and amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. It was great to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.